Hi, I'm Devin from Careerified. Welcome back to my home office. I have noticed lately that I seem to be talking an awful lot about networking. I was on Global News Morning in Toronto about a month ago talking about networking. I made networking the topic of my November newsletter. So again, let's talk about networking. And even this week, I had a couple of school boards reach out to me and say, "Hey, could you do some networking sessions for some of our students?" So apparently, this is the thing I'm talking about. So I'm just going to run with it. And so today we're going to talk about networking and specifically holiday networking and what that means for your kids. The holidays are actually a really great time for networking in a couple of different ways. If you have kids who are new to the world of work, and particularly if they're working in sort of an office environment, chances are there's some kind of holiday party going on. And this year, of course, due to the pandemic, holiday parties look a lot different. So it's not really too likely that you or your kid or anybody else attending a holiday party this season is going to be standing in line at a buffet, or is going to be, I don't know, trying to make awkward small talk while some DJ plays terrible 80s and 90s hits. Whatever you may have been exposed to in the past, that's probably not happening this year. So companies have been forced to get really creative. So I'm hearing everything from online karaoke to digital board game night to virtual escape rooms. And that provides an opportunity to really connect with other people in a way that you definitely would not normally do at work. So that's one thing that's happening. For anyone exploring career options, whether that is haven't yet chosen something, trying to figure out what I want, or I think I might want to make a leap after all this pandemic nonsense is over. A great way to start with that, of course, is informational interviews. And I've talked about that already on this channel. I'll link to that video so you can go check that out. But one thing a lot of people don't think about is those opportunities are actually quite significant in December. I don't know about you, but my calendar this week is just coming to the end of being very, very busy. So in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing some other things rather than, meeting with clients and going to meetings and that sort of thing. And that's actually very typical for this time of year, not just for me, but for a lot of people. So in the next couple of weeks, as people's professional calendars empty out, they will have a little bit more time than they normally would at other times of the year. So if your kids are looking at exploring different careers or coming up with different ideas now, right now, this week, in the next few days, is a really great time to start reaching out to people to ask, do you have 20 minutes? Do you have a half an hour? I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about your career. So as a parent, how can you help? Really support either of those things. So one thing you can do if you have an adult or nearly adult child who is working from home, maybe they're in a co-op, maybe they are working in a new graduate kind of entry-level role. If they have a holiday party coming up, ask them about it. Find out a little bit more details about how it's going to work and encourage them to attend. I think at this point in the pandemic, we're all pretty zoomed out. We're all pretty over being on our computers all the time. So it's easy, I think, to say, yeah, it's just a holiday party, whatever, I'm going to skip it. Encourage them to attend. The boss notices. The boss will absolutely notice if they're there and if they're not. And that's that conversation. Have that with them and be like, by the way, they're going to notice if you don't show up. So maybe think about showing up. The other thing you can do, and if you have, this is more maybe a teen or a 20-something who is exploring their career options, help connect them to people. And I talked about that in the informational interview video. So whether it's your own colleagues or it's maybe extended family members they don't know very well, but you know quite well, that's a really good first place to start to cut your teeth a little bit on informational interviews. One last way you can help is when your kids are participating in these things, do what you can to keep other members of the family busy. So that might be fur members of the family who really think they're lapdogs when they're not. It might be younger siblings who think in the middle of your university-age child's networking holiday party is a great time to start, screaming about video games. Help keep them occupied so that your kids can focus. That's always a really helpful thing to do as well. So that's my tip for this week. Holiday networking, it's totally a thing. And hopefully this is giving you some good ideas about how you can support your kids in their career exploration and even in starting to advance in an entry-level role. I will see you back here for a new tip next week. Thank you so much for joining me, and you take good care.